Good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News. Thank you for joining us this afternoon right here on KBC Channel 1. Our sign language interpreter is Byron Abuli. My name is Jackie Wambiru, and I'll kick us off this afternoon on Lunchtime News. We'll be crossing over to Garissa County, where President William Rutos Friday morning kicked off his working tour to Garissa and Nyamira counties. Now, he is launching a number of projects in the counties, and these includes the inspection of Omoringamo, Kenyenya, Paraine, Mesesi, Tabaka, Bonticha road. And to kick us off, let's listen in to his speech earlier on in Garissa County.
Pamoja tufanye hospitali pamoja, tupange ajira ya hawa vijana pamoja, tupange kilimo pamoja, tuondoe njaa na tupange kazi ambayo itafaidi wananchi wa taifa letu la Kenya. Watu wa hapa Kisii tunaelewana jameni? Sisi tumekubaliana, nyinyi mlimaliza kazi ya viongozi, sasa sisi ni kazi yetu kushughulika mambo ya wananchi. Namna hiyo tumekubaliana hapo. Jambo la pili, mimi nimekuja hapa kwa sababu ni muhimu tupange mambo ya maendeleo ya Kenya. Na niliwaambia wakati tulikuja hapa, nikawaambia ile ya muhimu sasa ni vile tutahakikisha ya kwamba Kenya inasonga mbele. Uchaguzi, mnajua kulikuwa na maneno mawili ambayo ilikuwa inatusumbua. Jambo la kwanza, tulikuwa na shida ya CBC, vile watoto wetu watasoma. Hiyo mambo ya CBC niliwaambia nitaishughulikia. Nataka kuwatangazia tumemaliza matatizo yote ya CBC. Tumekubaliana, all the stakeholders, walimu, wazazi, kila mtu tumekubaliana taratibu ya kusomesha watoto wetu wa taifa letu la Kenya. Na ndio kwa sababu hiyo tumeajiri walimu wengine wapya, kwa sababu niliwaambia elimu ndio inaleta usawa katika taifa letu la Kenya. Na ndio sababu tumeajiri walimu wapya 56,000 watakao tusaidia kusomesha watoto wetu, kwa sababu elimu ni ya muhimu sana. Mnanielewa? Mimi nataka niwaambie vile vile tulikubaliana jambo la kujaribu kushukisha gharama ya maisha. Tulikubaliana lazima tushughulike na kuteremusha gharama ya maisha, kupunguza gharama ya chakula. Si ni kweli? Na ndio sababu hiyo tukaweka mpango maalum ya kuhakikisha kwamba gharama ya kuzalisha chakula tunaipunguza. Ndio ile mbolea niliwaambia tutapunguza mbolea, tumetoa shilingi 7,000, sasa tumefikisha shilingi 2,500. Ninyi mnanielewa? Na wakulima wetu wa Kenya wamefanya kazi ya ajabu, kwa sababu saa hizi tumeanza kupata chakula kutoka shambani, na in the next 2-3 months tutakuwa tunavuna chakula. Na tumekubaliana ya kwamba ile mpango tumeweka, ile mahindi tulipata mwaka uliopita ilikuwa magunia 44,000, lakini mwaka huu kwa sababu Mungu ametubarikia mvua na tumekuwa na mpango ya fertilizer, tumefanyia subsidy, tutatoka 44 million mpaka 61 million, ili tuhakikisha kwamba hii maneno ya njaa tunamalizana nayo. Nyinyi mnanielewa? Na sababu hiyo ndio.
Well, that is President William Rutos on his development tour in Garissa. Well, he will traverse to Nyamira counties, and remember his itinerary has a myriad of activities. This includes inspection of Nyasiongo Market in Borabu. At the same time, the launch of rehabilitation works for Misambi Ekerenyo feeder road at Ekerenyo, as well as the launch of the construction of Nyamira County Aggregation and Industrial Park in Nyamira Town. Well, we shall be bringing you those live updates as this progresses. Now, let's move on to a different story, where the National Police Service is rather embarking on a countrywide sensitization campaign to build public confidence in the service. Speaking at the Meru Police Station, Senior Superintendent of Police Frederick Naibe reiterated the need for the public to act as watchdogs and help the police to root out crime. The public forums will allow the police and members of the public to engage on areas of mutual interest and the need for effective law enforcement.
Sheria ama ulinzi ama usalama haiwezi tekeleza na maafisa wa polisi peke yao. Lazima maafisa washirikiane na raia, kwa maana makosa yote ama uhalifu wote unatendeka katika maeneo ama makazi ya raia, mahali wanakaa, mahali wanafanyia kazi, mahali wanafanya biashara zao, huko ndio makosa inatendeka.
Especially kama vijana wetu wa bodaboda ndio wanabeba madawa ya kulevya, ndio wanatumia hiyo madawa ya kulevya, alafu tukikuja kama ni upande wa maofisa wetu wa polisi atuelewani, mara hata ukienda kupiga ripoti labda unakuta muelewani pale. Lakini leo tumejifunza maneno mingi sana ati kwamba sisi kama raia na maofisa wa polisi tukue kitu kimoja.
And now we cross over to the Bomas of Kenya, where the National Dialogue Committee is currently holding a meeting, and this afternoon it's expected to agree on the agenda of the talks. Now we join our reporter Giverson Minor for an updated report. Giverson, kindly bring us to speed.
We are coming to you live from the Bomas of Kenya, where the National Dialogue Committee, formerly known as the Bipartisan Talks Committee, the meeting is currently underway. And actually the members, of course, led by the side of the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition, and of course the other side of the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, just arrived at the Bomas of Kenya about 30 minutes thereby. And so far the meeting, I can say, has been on for around maybe about 10 minutes or even less. Of course, the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition is led by Kalonzo Musyoka, the party leader of the Wiper party. And of course, the other side is led by Kimani Ichung'wah, who is not present actually, but is that particular position has been taken over by Cecily Mbarire, who is leading the Kenya Kwanza team in the National Dialogue, which is currently underway behind me. And I can tell you that the Azimio side, the members we've seen Kalonzo Musyoka, Eugene Wamalwa is of course present. Of course, the minority leader of the National Assembly, one Opiyo Wandayi. And of course, the Kenya Kwanza members who are present, they include Cecily Mbarire, who is chairing the Kenya Kwanza side, and of course, Wabilianga Catherine, the woman rep member for, or rather the MP for Bungoma County, and of course, Hassan Omar, the Iyala member of Parliament. Those are the members, of course, who are sitting currently in that meeting. Of course, they include the technical committee. Azimio side technical committee, they are led by one Jeremiah Kioni, and of course the other side is being led by lawyer Thionkolu, Mudomi Thionkolu. And so far, the bipartisan, or rather the technical committee of the National Dialogue Committee had been tasked actually on Monday to formulate and to synchronize the agenda of the talks. Remember, the Azimio side have their own agenda issues, and of course the Kenya Kwanza has tabled their own agenda issues. And Azimio, of course, among the issues the Azimio have tabled include the cost of living, and of course number two, they include reconstitution of the IBC, of course audit of the IBC servers. So those are among the issues that have been raised by the Azimio side. The Kenya Kwanza agenda issues that they've tabled include, of course, the entrenchment of the office of the official leader of the opposition, of course, the entrenchment in the constitution of the CDF, or rather NGCDF, and of course the office of the Prime Cabinet Secretary, and of course they want, among other issues, to be entrenched in the Constitution to be the third gender rule. Those are the issues, but because these are different issues raised by various different groups, they want these particular agendas synchronized and to be formulated, to be just one document. So that is what they're supposed to tell us. But the question whether these, the particular, maybe the two sides will agree on one agenda or two agenda, depending on whatever they want to talk about, whether they will agree on that is just a different question. And so far, this is the main issue, that they're supposed to formulate agenda and agree on agenda of the talks, because the talks have so far not begun formally. But you also remember the National Assembly had approved this particular committee, and they also forwarded the same request to the Senate, which have not yet sat down to approve or rather ratify the committee so that it's legally formulated. And so far, these are the main issues there today at the Bomas of Kenya. And so we just keep on tabs here to wait and see whether they will announce to the country that they have agreed on the items they want to talk about, maybe whether they'll agree to, of course, the Kenya Kwanza has not agreed to include the cost of living, saying the cost of living is the mandate of the government of the day, that the Kenya Kwanza administration is supposed, has the mandate to tackle or deal with the issue of the cost of living. And so the other side is opposed to it. They say it's supposed to be actually agenda item number one of this particular discussion. And so we just keep on tabs here and see whether we'll have that announcement at the end of this particular meeting. Back to in studio.
Well, thank you so much, Giverson Minor, for that detailed report where the National Dialogue Committee is currently holding a meeting and is expected to agree on the agenda of the talks. We will be keeping you updated. Attorney General Justin Muturi has called on leaders in the counties to work together to achieve development for the people. Speaking in Ronyenje's constituency, Embu County, Muturi said that the infighting among leaders comes at the expense of meaningful development. Citing Embu County, Muturi noted that the county had lost development opportunities in the last 10 years of devolution due to the differences between the elected leaders.
We don't want infighting. Let us unite for the sake of our county and for the sake of the people of this county. That is the greatest tribute we can give to our mentor, Mwalimu Cosmas Kadhungu.
In other news, Thika Member of Parliament Alice Nganga is cautioning against the entrenchment of graft in the registration of the elderly into the Inua Jamii cash transfer program. The legislator says anyone found to have conspired against the state and the beneficiaries will be dealt with in accordance with the law. The government is calling on all senior citizens aged 70 years and above to come out and register for the monthly stipend. The exercise, which begins on the 1st of September, targets to register 500,000 elderly persons into the cash transfer program.
Exercise by the time tutakuwa tunafunga tarehe 30 mwezi wa 9, wewe ambayo hujakuwa captured, ongea, tunawakujia nyinyi wote, hakuna hata mmoja tunabaki nyuma na hakuna dururu, na ukisikia mtu ambie ndio tuwachukulie hatua kali.
Hiyo 2,000 tumelipa ile arrears, ile miezi ambayo tuko tumelipa miezi 8, tulilipa 16,000 kwa kila. Pia mwezi wa Julai hiyo pesa ilikuja 2,000. Na rais alisema kwamba hiyo pesa haitawahi chelewa tena.
A section of the clergy in Lamu County is calling on the government to beef up security in the region to avert further terror attacks. The clergy says many locals have been forced to run away from their homes for fear of attacks by militants. They are challenging security teams in the region to intensify intelligence gathering and dismantle all the networks used by militants to launch attacks in the region.
Serikali ina kila uwezo. Serikali ina mamlaka. Serikali itumie mamlaka yake na vitengo vyake vya kiusalama kuona kwamba jambo hili limekomeshwa.
Familia nyingi, wanawake wanaachwa kuwa wajane na watoto mayatima wamejaa. Kwa hicho kipindi cha miaka 10 wamekuwa wajane wengi, mayatima wengi, ambayo sasa unakuta kwamba maisha yao yanakuwa na shida, yanakuwa na mashaka.
Na tungependa serikali iweze kuchukua hatua inayohitajika kuhakikisha matukio haya hayaendelei tena, ili watu wasiendelee kufa, mifugo na mali iache kuendelea kuharibiwa.
Jambo ambalo tungeliomba kwa dhati sana kwamba serikali iweze kutazama na ili kwamba iweze kuingilia haswa jambo hili, ili kwamba uchumi katika kaunti ya Lamu iweze kurudi pahali pake pa kawaida, because imerudi chini sana kwa sababu ya mambo kama.
Naonekana ama tumeblock jua. Sawa. Tuko sawa.
Residents of Cabete constituency in Kiambu County have expressed alarm over the rising cases of suicide among youth in the area. In the last 2 months, 13 young people are said to have committed suicide in the constituency. The latest was engineer Robert Gituhu, who burned himself in Mombasa County. His family urged both the county and national governments to create job opportunities and counsellors to help the youth to cope with frustrations occasioned by lack of jobs. Kiambu County Women Member of Parliament Ann Wamuratha acknowledged that unemployment is a major crisis across the country.
Kwa hivyo hilo jambo limenifanya kuzindua huu mradi wangu wa Mama Boys mashinani, ili tuweze kuongea na hawa vijana. Jambo la kwanza, tuwape matumaini ya maisha. Jambo la pili, tuweze kuangalia miradi ambayo tunaweza wafanyia, na ndipo tumekuwa tukiongea, tutazidi kuongea na viongozi hata kama governor watuwezeshe kuaccess TVETs hizi ambazo ziko katika county, ili hata zile ambazo hazifanyiwi kazi tuanze kuzindua miradi pale, tuweze kuwawezesha hawa vijana wapate mahali pa kuamkia kwenda asubuhi, ili wapate kujipanga, kwa sababu hata tukipa matumaini na tusiwape jambo la kufanya ama tusiwapatie kazi ya kufanya, wataendelea katika shida ambazo wanapitia nazo.
And I cross over to Busia County earlier on when the National Reconstruction Alliance held its National Delegates Convention in Busia County. This follows the Register of Political Parties directive to have the delegates convention following party wrangles that have split the party into 2 factions. Now, Achola Simon is in Busia County with more details. Let's listen in.
After that 90-day ultimatum by the Registrar of Political Parties for all parties in the country to hold elections and have officials, today the National Reconstruction Alliance is holding their National Delegates Conference here in Busia County, with the sole purpose being that of electing new leaders. They have been having interim officials ever since this party was started a couple of years back, but today they'll be holding the National Delegates Conference that will enable them to have officials or new officials being ushered into the office. But to shed more light on exactly what is happening today, and of course matters National Reconstruction Alliance, is the party officials that have been holding office since the inception of this party. Karibu sana kiongozi. Kindly just introduce yourself and tell us what is happening today before we move on.
Mi naitwa Frederick Munuku na I am the national chairman of National Reconstruction Alliance. And today we are gathered here at the directions of the Registrar to this National Delegates Convention and be able to give the delegates the opportunity to elect the new National Executive Committee members for the party.
Which positions are at stake?
Right now, all the positions, because all officials were serving on interim basis. So we are going to be filling all the positions that are needed to be filled in the National Executive Committee.
We have seen delegates coming across the country. Just tell us where delegates are coming from. Are they from across the 47 counties, or are they from specific areas?
So far, according to our records, we have so far arrivals from 36 counties. Our delegates from Isiolo, they had some logistical issues when they arrived in Nairobi, but we've been in communication with them. They are on the way coming. But we have delegates that came in from Garissa. We have people that came in down from Homa Bay. We have people from Lamu. We have people from Makueni, Machakos, Nyeri, Laikipia, Nyandarua. So from all the 47 counties.
How many are you expecting today?
We're expecting maybe around 800 delegates.
Yeah. 800 delegates up. Well, there's been a number of issues going around National Reconstruction Alliance. Just give us an insight of exactly what is happening, because we understand another faction of this particular party has actually called for another NDC in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, there have been wrangles, and every house has their own problems. Our house has had problems. We have tried to solve those problems, and we've come to this point to now give the delegates themselves the opportunity to elect. And you don't just walk and conduct an NDC for a party. An NDC is supposed to be conducted in guideline of the constitution of the party. And what we're doing is in agreement with our party constitution. So the Secretary General in particular has really been giving us problems. He's not kept a good record of our lists. You know, you find even most of our members that registered 5 years ago have never been put in the system. He's not played his mandate as supposed to be. And we call him back to order. I mean, as a party, we cannot operate like that. We want to give this party a new look and a new image.
Regardless of the wrangles that have actually been there, one very encouraging thing is that this whole convention is quite peaceful.
Yes, it is peaceful because we are peaceful people. Our party believes in peace, and there is no need of us doing something that disrupts the peace of this country. If we want to be a political party in Kenya, then we have to be chief advocates of peace.
Why Busia and not Nairobi or any other place?
Busia gave us a lot of support in the last election. And also remember, we are in a devolution era. It's not that everything has to be held in Nairobi, even from the national function that you see nowadays. So today we are in Busia. 5 years from now, or if you have a special NDC, you will find us in Garissa. Because that's what we want. We are a grassroots party. We were founded on grassroots movement. We don't want to be a Nairobi-based party, even though we have delegates from Nairobi. We want to come down to where people are and make it a grassroots movement.
As we conclude, someone watching out there and they in other parties and they would want to join NRA, how do they go about it, and are they welcome?
Yes, every Kenyan from every walk of life, they are welcome to join. Like today, you can go to *509#, check your membership status. If you want to join NRA, then you have to resign from the party that you are currently in, and then you can fill up on the online through the ORPP platform, or you can fill a form at our branch offices anywhere in this country.
Well, that is our reporter Simon Achola in Busia, where the National Reconstruction Alliance held its NDC earlier on. Now, moving on, youth in Garissa County have engaged in an ambitious project of planting trees in the arid area while engaging in sensitization campaign to change the mentality of pastoral communities' transit to agro-pastoralism and agroforestry. The youth group has managed to plant over 1 million trees in a span of 4 years within the county.
When you think about Garissa County, what comes to mind? Let me paint a different narrative. Garissa County, with immense potential of cultivating 894,000 hectares of arable land, only 2,781 hectares are under cultivation, while the rest is a vast dry land occupied by invasive plants known as mathenge. However, within the county, youths are shaping the mentality by venturing into agroforestry.
Pastoral communities, they do keep livestock for pride, but you see, climate change does not know that. And the whole idea is to, when they get affected due to drought and so on and so forth, they end up getting this, they develop climate shocks, they develop mental issues. And now is to get them psychologically prepared by sharing climate information with the community and then also climate action.
In a tree plantation nursery, indigenous trees, fruit and exotic trees that are dry land species, all summing up to 48 species, flourish harmoniously.
Venturing them into agriculture and agro-pastoralism is to make sure that they're able to adapt and to new climate adaptation mechanism. That way it becomes much easier. So by the time droughts come, the level of loss and it is very minimal.
He called on the government to work hand in hand with youth, saying that it is the only way to achieve the 15 billion trees target and increase the forest cover.
If we don't have jobs in the government, we also have other young people who are able to employ young people. So for me, I have around young people, 20 young people working for me, both directly and indirectly.
Hassan says in his quest to green Garissa, he brought the community along by helping them shape the mentality from relying on pastoralism, but also diversifying livelihoods.
In the next 10 years, this place is going to be very green. We'll have the socio-economic aspect of our people. It's going to improve. The state of environment will also improve. I have a very big role to play as a young person. If you don't do it now, then who is going to do it for us?
As Kenya prepares to host the Africa Climate Summit, youth from Garissa County are leading from the front by engaging in activities that help mitigate climate change. For KBC Channel 1 from Garissa County, I am Teresa Mutai.
Well, indeed, Tess Mutai, they are painting a different picture of Garissa County. The government is embarking on, or rather is banking on, overseas jobs to deal with the high unemployment numbers in Kenya. Labour Cabinet Secretary Florence Bore says the government has already signed various agreements with Middle East countries that will see thousands of Kenyans recruited to work in various counties in United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, among others. The CS further says the Kenya job market is undergoing reforms to ensure more Kenyans are absorbed into the labour market. Speaking during the signing of the 2023-2024 financial year performance contract for state corporations under the Ministry of Labour, Bore has called on public officers to prioritize service delivery in their specific dockets that are evidence-based in the attainment of the agreed targets. The Labour CS says the government is committed on enhancing overall performance management framework by incorporating the bottom-up economic transformation agenda to drive Kenya's economic turnaround. Bore has also called for the implementation of corruption prevention policies, guidelines and circulars.
Be business as usual, and therefore we need to do more than double our efforts in order to register substantial progress in the targets we have committed to deliver. You should therefore ensure to cascade the targets to each individual officer and purpose to continuously and keenly monitor progress, since it will impact on our overall performance.
Well, that report brings us off our break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up. Welcome back. This is Lunchtime News. An ailing single mother from Nyamache sub-county, KBC County, is seeking justice for her 2 children who were abused by a man. The mother claims her son was sodomized while on his way home from school, and the daughter was sexually abused when she went to fetch firewood by the accused. She's now calling for a speedy investigation in order to bring the suspect to book.
The mother of the 2 abused children narrated how her son was trapped by the suspect and then sodomized. She says that the suspect also threatened the boy with a knife and forced him to smoke bang. She says that the son was later tied with a rope to a tree and left there. She further claims that her daughter, aged 7, was also defiled by the suspect while fetching firewood.
Sasa mimi nahitaji usaidizi kutoka kwa serikali kwa sababu mimi sijiwezi. Sina njia yoyote inanisaidia, lakini mimi naomba serikali inisaidie kwa hiyo watoto yangu.
She said that the assaults left her children with venereal diseases.
Sasa watoto wamepata shida tangu waliweza kutendewa hii ajali yenye imewapata wote. Sasa mimi naomba serikali inisaidie wapate ukweli yao hii watoto yangu. Ili maisha yao ikuwe mzuri.
She says that even after reporting the matter to Nyangusu and Nyamache police stations, nothing has been done to get her children justice.
Mimi nikaenda kwa chief, wakati chief hakushughulikia maneno, sasa nikachukua hatua kwenda kwa serikali sasa inisaidie. Sasa ninaripoti vizuri, wananipea tarehe. Nikienda huko wananiruhusu, wananiambia enda Nyangusu. Kufika Nyangusu, Wanyamache kufika Nyangusu, bado huyo SS ananiambia enda Nyamache. Yenye sio kesi yako kwenda, wakiniona wanachukua hiyo faili wanaficha.
Nyamache OCPD Kipkemboi Koshelei Kipkulei confirmed the incident, saying investigations were underway. Beatrice Gatonyang-Etich, Lunchtime News.
The process of community land registration in Isiolo County, which had stalled, is now expected to move on smoothly as elders finally agree on contentious issues like name and units of registration, following a meeting convened by the MERTI Integrated Development Program and ActionAid elders from the Borana, Gabra, Sakuye, Somali, Turkana, Samburu and Ameru communities who reside in Isiolo County resolved to have their community land registered as Merti Sub-County Community Land, Garbaturla Sub-County Community Land and Isiolo Sub-County Community Land. This decision broke the impasse and the process is now anticipated to be completed quickly.
Tukaitana sisi jamii ya Sakuye, jamii ya Borana, jamii ya Gabra, zote tulikaa pamoja, tukaondoa tofauti yetu ili tupate kusajili ardhi yetu. Watoto wetu wanangoja ardhi yao kusajiliwa ili wao wapate ardhi yao na wakae kwa njia nzuri, wakae pamoja kwa salama. Tumekubaliana sisi, ile kitu imetuleta sisi pamoja ni kuzungumza mambo ya community land registration. Tumepatia wa 1 month waende wakakae pamoja, wafanye community participation, pia watu wakubali ya kwamba registration ya sub-county tumekubaliana.
Fast tracking now this process with this new regime of the county government. There is a lot of political goodwill with this current government, and also Council of Elders, they are doing a lot in, as far as community mobilization and sensitization is concerned. So current discussion is now the harmonization of the model of community land registration.
Kilifi sub-county administrators have been redeployed to different departments and counties in an administrative reorganization effort aimed at enhancing service delivery to the public. Governor Gideon Mungaro's administration placed sub-county administrators who had been recalled 2 weeks ago in a pre-established vacant positions within the county government.
The County Executive Committee has today made a decision to redeploy all the sub-county administrators that were recalled. Nyadhifa hizi zimekuwepo ingawaje zilikuwa bado hazijajazwa. Yani zilikuwa katika establishment ya serikali.
Plans are underway to have a joint coffee licensing unit in a bid to end multiple licensing of coffee traders. Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says single licensing will reduce incidences of trading at the Nairobi Coffee Exchange, which has seen traders manipulate prices at the expense of farmers.
The Capital Markets Authority, Agriculture and Food Authority, and the yet-to-be-formed Coffee Board will form a special-purpose vehicle with a mandate to control the licensing of coffee players. The government says the joint licensing unit will reduce cases of multiple licensing, which has seen some traders engage in manipulating coffee prices.
A joint licensing committee with all the actors so that these people don't play around with us. Let us have a mechanism with Alpha, Coffee Board of Kenya, the Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Cooperative Development, and the counties sitting in a joint meeting to give the licensing so that we don't have people, playing around the institutions. So that all the
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua says multiple license holders have been engaging in price fixing, lowering earnings by coffee farmers.
Look at the issue of multiple licensing. People who are doing, they are the buyers, they are the marketers, they are the millers. This one, it was agreed in Meru, it must be separated.
We introduced direct sales settlement, meaning, and this is important to the honorable members, meaning farmers can be paid at the same time as the marketer, as the broker, as the miller. The time it took to wait for payment, which has been the practice for the last 60 years, is now gone.
As part of the ongoing coffee reforms, the government plans to introduce amendments to the Coffee Bill 2023 that will set the minimum amount of coffee that a cooperative can trade to ensure smaller cooperatives aggregate to enjoy the economy of scale.
Look for a mechanism on how to restore huge societies so that we can benefit from economies of scale. And this can be done through legislation. Of course, the officials will fight. Again, we must be prepared.
At the same time, Kenya is planning to start direct coffee sales to multiple outlets in key markets, as well as triple production to 150,000 metric tons in the next 5 years from the current low of 40,000 tons. Benson Rioba reporting for Lunchtime News.
Kenyan private security firms are set to benefit from increased security equipment training and intelligence sharing from the Israeli private security firms. In a business seminar aimed at advancing business relations between the two countries, Barak Granot, the head of Economic and Trade Mission, says partnership in the private sector between the two countries will contribute to mutual benefit in security and forge bilateral relations. Trevor Ngendo with the details.
Long diplomatic relations between Israel and Kenya have paved the way for collaboration in various areas, among them agriculture, technology and defense. The Economic and Trade Mission under the Embassy of Israel to Kenya is now seeking to foster intelligence and innovation sharing between Kenyan private security companies and homeland security firms in Israel.
It's not a secret that Kenya is facing certain challenges when it comes to homeland security, when it comes to terrorism, when it comes to riots control, I would say. And fortunately and unfortunately, Israel has developed a lot of innovative solutions.
Various stakeholders in the sector showcased their advanced security technologies, including surveillance systems and cybersecurity, with investors hoping to explore private partnerships in a bid to mitigate criminal activities as Kenyans tap into job opportunities in joint ventures.
Such a partnership between Kenya and Israeli companies really strengthens our capabilities in being able to offer better security solutions to this country, as well as also creating more job opportunities. Of course, now we'll have more technical experts, we'll have engineers, we'll have cybersecurity experts in this country being able to engage in offering some of the most sophisticated security solutions.
We have built CSOC, which is Cybersecurity Operation Centers, in several countries across the world, and we'll be happy to assist and come up with our advanced state-of-the-art solutions to come and give you to stop these attacks.
While they have some knowledge in technologies, we also have knowledge in technologies. Our local operating environment is a little different from Israel, and they are gaining experience as to how to approach Africa with the technologies.
Trevor Ngindo for Lunchtime News.
The government plans to construct 10 new markets in Ajira County this financial year to help spur agribusiness in the county. President William Rutos says this will also help small-scale businesses to have a conducive work environment.
Kusaidia kupunguza gharama ya chakula ni kusaidia mkulima azalishe chakula zaidi.
Speaking in Ajira County on Thursday, President Ruto said the upgrading of more than 400 kilometers of roads within Ajira County will ensure farmers in the area easily access markets for their produce on time and reduce wastage.
Hii soko isingoje barabara. Hii soko miezi miwili mitatu iwe imekamilika, ndio hawa mama waendelee na biashara, tupeleke taifa letu la Kenya mbele. Tumekubaliana?
The president added that the 50-kilometer roads network will cut transport costs and minimize post-harvest losses. He said it is the government's plans to redeem the glory of agriculture, which for a long time has been Kenya's economic bedrock. Ruto added that more milk coolers will be distributed in the region to protect farmers from losses during market fluctuations.
Tunataka bei ya maziwa isirudi chini ya shilingi 50 kwa lita moja. Ile pesa mkulima anapata. Ile pesa mkulima anapata.
He added the government has reduced tax on animal feeds so that the cost of production can go down. Edna Murungi for Lunchtime News.
Kenya plans to regain its position as the regional business process outsourcing hub through the Ajira Digital initiative. The project that aims to equip young people with digital skills will help supply the labor market with qualified ICT expertise. Now, Assistant Director of the State Department of Information, Priscilla Maina, says the Ajira Youth Empowerment Project will also help bridge the gender digital gap in the uptake of technology in the country.
Vision 2030 identifies business processing and outsourcing as a major contributor to employment in Kenya, with the subsector expected to generate about 1 million jobs by the year 2030. Under the third medium-term plan, business processing, outsourcing and information technology-enabled services has lined up major investment to spur the growth of the industry. Some of the projects include Konza Technopolis, Digital Literacy Program, Ajira Digital Program, and the rollout of Studio Mashinani and Constituency Innovation Hubs, among others.
We need to ensure that the ICT sector contributes at least to 10% of the GDP. Our vision is to be a globally competitive knowledge economy, and that means Ajira plays a great role in our vision. And our mission is to facilitate universal access of ICT infrastructure and empower youth for national development.
Assistant Director in the State Department of Information, Priscilla Minor, says the Ajira Youth Empowerment projects have so far capacitated thousands of young people with ICT skills. Kenya's share of BPO is still minimal, focusing mainly on low-skill functions such as data entry and transcriptions, computer coding.
An opportunity for young people to become freelancers, to get jobs not just in Kenya, to work during their own hours, and to earn a dignified and fulfilling income, but they needed the skills to be able to do that. They needed access to internet, to connectivity, to devices.
Maina is urging more women to enroll in digital programs in a bid to promote digital inclusion. The first cohorts of 16 women under the Ajira Youth Empowerment Project have graduated today, with the second cohort expected to graduate later this year.
For KEPSA, our focus largely is on two main areas: ensuring that we are stimulating the economy to create digital work for young people, but also making sure that young people are being linked to various digital opportunities across the globe.
Artificial intelligence and small to mid-sized enterprises are projected to play a significant role in driving rapid growth of the communications platform as a service market. Infobib key account executive Duncan Mochama says the uptake of digital transformation is reshaping businesses in a more agile and flexible way by enriching customer communications channels.
The global communication platform as a service market size was valued at $8.9 billion in 2021 and is expected to expand at a compound annual growth rate of 31.1% from 2022 to 2030. The ability of communication platform as a service to embed communication and collaboration into business applications and processes and enterprise digital transformation requirements are driving the market growth. Latest data indicates that at least 40% of mid-sized enterprises will scale up their digital capabilities for customer experiences using communication platform as a service tools. Resultantly, this will see the cloud communication platform grow to harness communication platform as a service as a vital IT skill set.
Businesses exist primarily to solve societal problems, and a byproduct of that is now profit. Yeah, and for them to realize profit and solve those problems, first of all, they need to reduce their operational costs. CPaaS does that for you. Yeah, CPaaS reduces. You don't have to invest in huge servers. You don't need to invest in huge capital investments. You can just cherry pick what applications, what channels. So if your customers are good in voice, then you as a business can be able to pick voice. If their business needs change and now they get to SMS, or they want to communicate to you through SMS or email, then you can actually just plug in into your system, thereby now giving you a lot of return on your investments.
Infobib says businesses endeavor to deliver a unique and personalized customer experience across all channels such as voice, video, SMS, chat, and social media to improve customer experience, increase efficiency, and scale their operations. This allows them manage client data across multiple channels seamlessly.
It has evolved just from SMS to voice to now over-the-top services, as we call it, which means your WhatsApp, your rich communication media right now, to advanced machine learning and AI, meaning that if you're calling an Uber, for instance, and the driver cannot find you, you basically just messaging him or calling him without them knowing your number, then that is CPaaS for you.
Additionally, they also advocated for customized experiences with communication platform as a service that will encourage consumers to integrate their services seamlessly across industries.
Now, customers or everyone needs to be understood, to be heard, and on top of that, to be valued. So most of the time, that is what our customers are looking to solve that problem. So whether they're selling a product, whether they're selling a service, whether they're trying to solve a problem, all they're looking at, all that, if you look at that, It's just trying to understand their clients.
With internet penetration across the region coupled with ease of access to features and smart mobile phones, personalized experiences to end users is no longer an option in all verticals, including travel and hospitality, e-commerce and retail, and healthcare. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
Kenya Reinsurance Corporation plans to shut down its operations in India, citing huge losses in the agricultural sector that sent claims through the roof. The company says losses in agriculture underwriting amounted to 3.2 billion shillings, according to Kenya Re Managing Director Dr. Hilary Wachinga. The insurer is seeking to raise earnings to 1 billion shillings from other markets across markets to recoup the losses.
During the period in review, the reinsurer's net premiums dipped to 6.4 billion from 9.7 billion shillings earned during a similar period. This performance is attributed to an estimated 2 billion shillings top-line haircut on account of poor performance of the Indian market.
Because of foregone 2 billion premiums from the Indian market. So same time last year, we had written 2.5 billion in agriculture in India. Same time this year, we only have a mere $500 million.
The reinsurer is banking on remodeling its business to focus on the domestic market as well as high potential markets in Africa, including DRC and South Africa.
Increased regulatory activities in our key markets, starting with Kenya. And this is basically looking at risk-based supervision, which again is very key to the business we are in.
The reinsurer's total revenues jumped to 802 million, supported by growth in investment income at 16% to 2.2 billion, and a reduction in net claims by 36% to 4.2 billion from 6.5 billion shillings.
So the measures, the regulatory pressures are not bad. They also come with a very good opportunity, especially in protecting our bottom line. So these measures, of course, are timely. They have taken longer than expected, but again, we have seen they are stabilizing the markets, not just Kenya, but also other markets that we operate in.
Kenya Re Managing Director Dr. Hilary Wachinga says the underwriters scaled up performance through strategic investments in new business lines and innovation, with key focus being Kenya and key markets within East, Southern and Northern Africa. Regina Manyara reporting for Lunchtime News.
Scientists are calling for the adoption of new technology in farming in order to alleviate the country's perennial food shortage. African Agriculture Technology Foundation says the adverse effects of climate change and invasive pests can be mitigated through research on modern technology, including hybrid seed development.
Kenya's food import bill from January to September last year hit a 5-year high of 184 billion shillings, as the country grappled with 5 consecutive failed rain seasons. Players in the agriculture sector say employing modern technology, including seed development, can mitigate against food shortage and reduce the country's import bill.
FIS has conducted national performance trial and DUS test for BT cotton, for BT maize, and virus-resistant cassava.
Scientists say invasive pests and climate change have reduced the country's food production by 30% over the years, with an estimated 4.4 million people facing high levels of acute food insecurity in the arid and semi-arid regions. Investments in modern agriculture technologies can cut farmers' losses to pests and diseases, while also increasing resilience against climate variability and guaranteeing an adequate return on investment.
Is whether the extension service is strong enough to make farmers be aware of what products are available, their advantages over traditional varieties, and whether there is a consistent and persistent education and training system for the farmers.
Scientists say genetically modified organisms have the capacity to boost Kenya's food security.
We are also looking forward for the day when the ban will be, out of court, so that we can start benefiting from the real, product of GMO. So we are urging really lawyers and judges to hasten their steps, because we want to see these products out there in the field.
AATF is calling for a public-private partnerships that will enable farmers to access yield-enhancing technologies. Benson Ruba reporting for Lunchtime News.
And now in the sports arena, President William Rutos has praised and congratulated national volleyball women team Malkia Strikers for earning a ticket to represent Kenya and Africa at the 2024 Paris Olympic Games after beating Egypt by 3 straight sets in the final of the Africa Volleyball Championship last night in Yaoundé, Cameroon. Malkia defeated hosts and defending champions Cameroon in the semi on their way to the final.
Kenya's Malkia Strikers are the new African champions after beating Egypt in 3 straight sets in the finals of the African Volleyball Championship in Cameroon. The Kenyan Queens clinched their 10th continental crown after winning in sets of 25-22, 25-20, 25-14. The win earned them a qualification to the 2025 Volleyball Women's World Championship as the African representatives in the Olympics Games next year. Prior to the Thursday's win, Malkia Strikers had last won the nation's championships in 2015 when Kenya hosted the tournament. On their way to the finals, Malkia Strikers beat Rwanda 3-0 in their opening game before repeating the feat by trouncing Uganda by the same margin, and then went on to beat Morocco 3-1 and Lesotho 3-0.
Emmanuel Wanyonyi, Jacob Krop and Ishmael Kipkurui will be aiming to bag more medals for Team Kenya in the ongoing World Athletics Championship in Budapest after qualifying for the finals of their respective races. Wanyonyi will compete in the 800 meters final, while Krop and Kipkurui will compete in the men's 5,000 meters final.
Emmanuel Wanyonyi was the only Kenyan who qualified for the final of the men 800 meters to be held on Saturday, a day to the end of the World Championship Budapest 23. Wanyonyi clocked 1 minute, 43.83 seconds to win semi-final 3 last night and book a place in the final. Compatriot Alex Ngeno finished last in semi-final 2, missing out on a spot in the final.
On the outside, Wanyonyi, Ben Hoppel, and I think Mezian was in 4th.
Meanwhile, Jacob Krop and Ishmael Kipkurui are through to the men's 500 meters final. Both Kenyans finished 7th in Heat 2 in a time of 13 minutes, 13.63 seconds.
The exchanges were between the two of them. Gravalia coming up onto the shoulder of Kajelcha. Mo Ahmed's okay. Oscar Chalimo is there. Good running as well.
Compatriot Nicholas Kipkorir and Cornelius Kemboi failed to make the cut after finishing 14th and 17th in Heat 1 respectively. Kipkorir clocked 13 minutes, 40.43 seconds, while Kemboi clocked 13 minutes, 44.32 seconds. Joina Bwile for Lunchtime News.
Well, we do wish Team Kenya all the best. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you for choosing Lunchtime News. My name is Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Byron Apoli. Enjoy your afternoon.